Did you know that 75% of people experience some type of public speaking fear in their lives, at least once? And I'm sure if we were in the egg and chicken argument, if confidence came first, I think that none of us would have ever been scared to say anything or do something new, because confidence, I can say, is a very interesting topic because recently, in recent years, and I think also in the past, I'm not sure, I didn't research how self confidence was in the past, but I feel like self confidence is way beyond the just love yourself, just be yourself, you know? You want to be confident? Just be yourself, you know? It sounds so easy. And I think online we have many videos that are like, oh, this is how to walk more confidently. This is how to talk more confidently. This is how to speak more confidently. But at the end of the day, if you're not confident within yourself, you're not going to be confident ever. Because I can learning how to speak is a skill. Learning how to walk into a room is a skill. How to speak to people, how to be, sociable, that is a skill. You can learn that. You can just learn etiquette and you will be fine. But how on earth do you learn how to have confidence in yourself? That's the type of confidence I want to speak today. So, hi everyone, my name is Jessica Marinella. If you do not already know myself or Victoria, please make sure to check out our previous videos. But today's episode is going to be how to actually be confident. And as I already explained in the intro, this isn't the confidence of walking, it isn't the confidence of looking confident. This is the type of personal, interpersonal confidence in a way. Your internal confidence, how you think about yourself. Are you confident in yourself and not just how you look, not confident in just how you dress, not confident in just how you speak, but confident in yourself, for yourself, and most importantly, how you are as a person, not just how you act. So, as I already spoke, confidence is a skill. It is something that can be learned. That type of confidence is the confidence I already went into. You can look for videos, how to speak more confidently, how to speak more fluently, how to make your presence more noticeable when you walk into a room. Pretty simple. Make sure you keep your shoulders up, your face up. It shouldn't be looking down. You shouldn't be looking at something else. You should make sure to maintain eye contact in cases where you're with people your own age. When you're not with people your own age, be respectful about how you speak, but at the same time, still hold weight in what you speak because you have confidence in what you speak. That is a skill. Something you learn, something you can get used to after a while, something you can just fall into a habit of doing after a while. However, there's a type of confidence that cannot really be taught. There's a type of confidence that honestly, there's not really a straightforward tutorial for it. Because many people just say confidence is just action. But in reality, action is actually confidence. You become confident because you've done something before. Nobody is born confident, we learn it. So, as I had said, if confidence came first, honestly, none of us would be nervous. We all, I'm sure some of us remember how was our first day at school. I don't really remember my first day at grade 1 or my first grade level. I remember actually my first day at kindergarten. I was so sad because I even remember what the gates looked like. They were rainbow gates. Ironically, they were rainbow gates. And I was literally crying my eyes out as I saw my mom leave those ironically happy gates, even though I was literally so sad. And I remember my teacher came up to me and she was like, "No, it's fine. Your mom's gonna come back later. Don't worry. We're gonna go to class now. What's your name?" Things like that. So I remember my first day of kindergarten, and obviously, I don't think any of us were really like confident. I think our confidence just probably was more hit when we went into like late middle school. That's a bit more different because I remember in my first day of sixth grade, I walk into class and even my all my friends say the same thing. When they first meet me, they usually think I'm a really quiet person because I really keep to myself. Like I don't speak to anyone. I'll just walk in, sit in my own corner and be really quiet. Actually, my friends were the ones that looked extroverted because I walked into the class and they were the ones like, come sit with us. And we have a seat here. Come sit with us. And I just went to sit with them. And then we started talking. At first, I really looked like a really quiet person because I really did not talk much. I didn't talk really much about myself. So I can say from a personal experience, I'm not like the number one example of social confidence because I honestly look very insociable when I walk into a room. I think I've improved a bit, but I can say that confidence in myself, I do. So I was just giving an example. I think we all have our own experiences when it comes to confidence, especially the biggest example would be school. When you go into a new environment, I'm a person who moved a lot, so I changed environments quite often. So I was quite used to being out of my comfort zone and having to be confident in another zone that I'm not used to. So that's my personal experience in physical confidence. Um, and my question actually would be, have you always been confident? And what did you think confidence meant growing up? That's my question to you. You can feel free to put it in the comments, your own idea, because I mean, I can't really give you a set answer, um, especially when it comes to things like interpersonal things. Everybody has their own opinion. So feel free to give your own opinion there in the comments, and I'll repeat the questions. Have you ever been confident? Oh, sorry. Have you always been confident? And what did you think confidence meant when you were growing up? So, confidence isn't self love. That's actually something that many people mistake confidence as. Like, when you go online, I'm a Pinterest girl. So, when you go onto Pinterest, there's those videos for, oh, self love, self date. What do they call it? Solo dates. Yes, self love, solo day. To make me more confident, and they have like 10,000 masks, and body mist, and they take a 2-hour bath or something. And it's not like it's a bad thing. It's something really nice to reset. I also try to do that every month so that I just get like a nice reset, a time to cool down, think about everything in the month, what I want to do next. It's good. But doing that, like taking a shower and putting like 2 masks of hyaluronic acid, is not going to make you more confident. And confidence does not equal self love, and self love does not equal confidence, because one can love themselves, however, not be 100% confident in themselves, because there's sometimes that hesitation of, what if I do that? Yes, I love myself, and you truly do, but you don't have the confidence to show yourself, especially to yourself. You don't believe you can do things. It's not like anyone's telling you anything. You don't believe really in yourself. And I know it's kind of controversial, like confidence isn't self love, but it's true. There are people who love themselves, but we still get nervous. They still get nervous. They still doubt themselves. And confidence is really trust. It's not constant positivity. Because, as I said, I'm a Pinterest person. So I know the type of things you get on Pinterest, like, you can do this. Love yourself, be confident, or those, baddie quotes or something. Like, okay, I can't really think of one out of the box right now, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Like, all those inspirational quotes of like, walk on everyone, you can do it. Yeah, like those quotes that really do look inspirational, but confidence really is not constant positivity. I think we also talked about this in comparison or something. I think it was comparison that me and Victoria talked about. Um, Motivation isn't like just getting positivity. It's not really going to motivate you at the end of the day. So comes to my second point. Confidence comes from evidence, actual evidence. My question is, why is a pilot confident in flying a plane? Have you ever wondered? Imagine being responsible for at least 200 lives, going into a territory that is not even our natural space because humans are land mammals. We don't fly. We're not birds. So imagine being a pilot. You're responsible for 200 people, and maybe depending on the type of plane, it can be 100. Could even go down to even 12 if it's a small jet. Helicopters as well could be 4 people. So my question is, have you ever wondered, how is a pilot so confident in flying a plane? Why? It's because they have done it hundreds of times. Not because they just woke up feeling magical and they were like, yes, today I am flying a plane and I'm going to do it. I am so confident in myself today. They didn't go onto Pinterest in the morning and be like, you can fly, you can do it. No, they are confident because they have done it many times. They go to school, they train, they do practicals, they do exams, several exams, they have to study. They already know everything. They don't need any motivation to say, you can fly good today. They don't need it. You never heard of that, like, go to pilot Pinterest, there you'll get motivation to fly. No, they don't have any motivation. They simply do it confidently because they've already done it. Same goes for public speaking, friendships, driving, leadership. Confidence grows through thorough repetition. And you must be wondering, how do I practice self confidence? Like, it's not like you can just I don't know. It's not like you can write an exam or study for self confidence or something. So how does this really correlate in a way? And I would say it is actually practicable. I don't think that's a word, but it is practicable. It is possible to do that. It is 100% possible to practice being confident in yourself. And one of my biggest tips would be, when you want to do something, do it without waiting. Stop waiting to feel ready. That would be the number one tip, because when you don't have self-confidence in your own opinions and what you do, then you end up asking other people for advice. Sometimes advice is good. It's good to ask for help. It's good to get opinions from other people, from trusted people. Most especially, it's very important to have trusted people to ask advice from. But sometimes advice can actually be really dangerous, because if you're a person that's only asking for advice to get validation for what you want to do, like, you're shopping out with your friends and maybe they're all buying a dress and you already see a dress. You see a purple dress and you're like, wow, that dress is so pretty. But you also don't want to point it out. Then maybe your friends will be like, oh no, it's not going to fit you. So you ask your friends, you already know you like the purple dress. You don't like the other dresses. But you still ask your friends, oh, which one do you think is good for me? And when they say the purple one, you're now validating your already answer. You already had an answer. So practicing self-confidence would be going up to that purple dress, getting it without asking. That's self-confidence, because now you already know the answer to some things. So you should then take initiative. And the point really is, stop waiting to feel ready. Of course, I'm not saying from now on, don't ask other people's advice, don't ask for opinions. It's really important to do so. But in the case where you're only doing it because you don't want to be left out, You don't want to say something, do something that people might not agree with. Of course, please ask for advice when you're unsure, but you should have confidence in your own opinion, in your own thoughts and things like that. Because people think when I'm confident, I will start. Like, you've been wanting to do public speaking, but you're like, oh, when I'm confident, I'll start doing public speaking. Even if you're not going for public speaking professionally, maybe talking in your friend group. You don't want to really talk that much because you're like, no, I'll only speak when I'm confident enough. I'll first see how I can become more confident in myself. And instead, you just end up staying scared, staying awkward, staying imperfect in your own eyes, and you're simply never gonna start. And it's almost like you're expecting confidence to like naturally show up at some point of your life, like it's in human biology or something, like your brain is going to develop at some point. So you're just going to be like, oh, just wait until, confidence comes up. But it's never actually going to happen like that. And now we're actually going to go into our first Bible verse, which is from Joshua 1, verse 9. Be strong and of good courage. And I know it sounds like do it, you can do it. But when you think about the scenario where Joshua was actually probably the best example for self-confidence, because Moses, who had been a great leader, whether or not you know the Bible or not, whether you're Christian or not, I'm sure you've heard of Moses of somewhere. He led people out of Egypt. He was chosen by God. He helped to cross the Red Sea. God opened the Red Sea. He was a great leader. He made most of Deuteronomy. He made the laws. He was a great leader. And even as said, he was the humblest man on earth, because even though he went through the most, he was still humble in all of them. And now Moses was gone. And his disciple in a way was Joshua, and he was the one left behind to now be the next leader. And he's probably, as I said, the best case of self-confidence, because now somebody that was so respected is gone. You're suddenly put in the shoes of somebody so great. And other people, the other elders of the camp, they were like, no, you're not the actual leader. There's no like formal stating that says you are the leader. Then there were others who were fighting, saying, no, but he was closest to Moses, so we should let him. So he was probably in such a tight position, in a position that honestly probably felt so terrible, because he didn't believe in himself, number one. He was scared because now he didn't really know what to do. And especially since Moses didn't die traditionally, in the sense of like he was sick, then in his deathbed he said, oh, I want Joshua to be my replacement or something. Suddenly he was just gone, and people somehow had to believe in him to be leader, and somehow he had to also believe in himself to be a leader to thousands of people out of nowhere. So when it said in Joshua verse 9, be strong and of good courage, it wasn't just, oh, you can do it. It was really something really powerful to him, because he wasn't feeling strong. He wasn't feeling courageous at all. Even though he was a warrior, he wasn't being strong or courageous. So being strong and of good courage was basically not motivation. It was the push for him to continue doing. And as said, not to where did I have it? Not he stopped waiting to feel ready. He stopped waiting to be like, oh, my training is over and now I'm going to be a great leader. And he stopped doing that. He was just like, now I just need to lead the people. God said to be courageous. It wasn't just he could have just said be strong and a good leader. But instead, God said, be strong and of good courage. He didn't just say, be strong and, lift some weights in the gym. He meant mentally strong. He meant psychologically strong. So God, on top of just being strong is good, but on top of everything, you have to be courageous. You have to take the leaps sometimes and not wait until you feel courageous. And that kind of leads to our second verse. Our second verse is located in Proverbs 28, verse 1. By the way, if you're not sure, I'm using the NKJV, New King James Version. So in case you're like, oh, this verse doesn't sound how I know it, well, just so you know, it's a different version if you use a different version. So the righteous are bold as a lion. So that's in Proverbs 21, verse 1. The righteous are bold as a lion. So the Bible references to lions quite often, actually, because it's also what marks the tribe of Judah. But also, lions are kind of like the face of courage. And as you can see, something that I found very interesting in the Bible, it didn't just say be righteous or just be bold as a lion. It said the righteous are bold as a lion. So it's already somebody who's righteous, then they are as bold as a lion. It's not just, oh, they're bold and that's it. And I think it also goes to the one of the most known verses in Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So again, the Bible doesn't leave characteristics alone. It says, through Christ who strengthens me. It's not just, I can do all things and God strengthens me. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You have to go through Christ who then strengthens you. And in my last verse is Timothy 1:7. Fear God. For God, sorry, I don't know why I'm suddenly dyslexic. So 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear. So that's my last Bible verse, because I think it wraps up everything. God did not give us a spirit of fear. The fact we are scared means we're holding us back. And the fact it even says this means that God never created us to be scared. God never created us to be not confident. He never created us to be scared of experiences, scared of speaking. He created us to be confident in ourselves. And I think that really, it really wraps up everything. And honestly, you don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by doing. It's not a 5-step tutorial. It's not something that you will get to know. Honestly, there's only one step to being confident. The first step is to be confident, to tell yourself that I am gonna be what I want to be. I believe in myself and not in what other people say. I won't rely on what other people say for how I am, how I look. I'm gonna have confidence in myself. And of course, a healthy level, you cannot now become narcissistic. But in the sense of now you have to actually take your self-confidence out of, the superficial level, I can say the superficial level. So my final thoughts are, maybe confidence isn't walking into a room and believing you're the best, because I know that's what it's, labeled as. And maybe walking into a room knowing you'll be okay, even if you're not. That's I can say real confidence. Maybe it's walking into a room and knowing you'll be okay, even if you're not. Even if maybe the room isn't like it's your class isn't the best in the world, but that is actual confidence, being confident that you'll be okay. Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this episode, episode 5 of our series, Not Only in Pink. If you have not already subscribed, make sure to do so. Like, comment, questions, comment, doubts, or maybe something you're not sure of, or even you're like, oh, maybe this subject isn't really for you. Maybe you're good with confidence, but maybe you have something that you'd want to actually know. Feel free to give a theme topic that you'd like us to do. Maybe you want to talk about uh, habits, how to make habits, for example. Oh, that's a good idea. That's actually a good one. You never know. Maybe I dropped a hint for a future episode. I don't know when we'll do it though. But next week, it'll be myself and Victoria. We'll both do it together. Apologies for the delay. I actually recorded an episode, but I don't know why it did not want to load. I don't know. Maybe the file is corrupted. So, and I've honestly been so busy. Never become a podcast editor. I never knew it was so tough. I've never admired podcasts so much after actually being in one. Like, it is so hard. Like, it's at least 30 minutes of content to edit. And that is not short. That is not short. And I'm used to editing things like 5 minutes long at most. So doing something this long, and worst part, it's not a video, it's an audio. So I actually have to add visuals. I have to go onto Canva, design what is the theme, like the color scheme of this episode. That's a good question I have to figure out. But yeah, feel free to give any suggestions. Maybe you'd want myself and Victoria to have like a quiz together. I don't know, like for fun, nothing really, topic oriented. If you want that, feel free to drop in. If you do not already know, we have a Spotify as well. So it's the same name on Spotify. And we are also on Substack, where we post our articles along with every episode. For example, this one is a podcast, but with this podcast on Substack, there's an article about it. It's not like a copy and paste of like the podcast. It's not like a transcript. It's like genuinely a separate article, but with the actual topic of today. So, oh my gosh, my voice. Have admiration for people in podcasts, and don't ever blame them for having water, because your throat gets so dry. Oh my gosh. I've even come to wonder how on earth our teachers did this. Like, I have admiration for anyone that speaks for hours now, because my throat is always so dry. Like, I remember, I think it was one of the episodes me and Victoria did together. And after, I was like, I need water. And this part, at first, I didn't even know you really needed water. So I really just stayed thirsty. Now I think I know my lesson. I'm always gonna have water. Yeah, so sorry for rambling. Sorry. Yeah, so I hope you guys drop in for next week's topic. Make sure to subscribe, follow, go on our Spotify, please. You can go to our Spotify. Honestly, maybe you can even ask, as I said, Victoria's been wanting to do it in a while, doing like an episode that's not really topic oriented, just something just like for fun, like something about us in a way, for you guys to get to know us as people instead of just hearing our advice all the time. So if you want that, you can say yes. Even let's say if one person says yes, if one person says they want us to do an episode like that, we will do it. Yeah, that's a good idea. So if you want it, say yes in the comments. Say you want us to do a fun episode. I don't know, you can even give suggestions. What would you want us to do? A quiz? Or questions? What should we do? That yeah, so just drop your suggestion. Yeah. Anyway, I've been rambling for 5 minutes straight and I'm so sorry. Maybe charge your device. Um Stay happy, stay healthy, stay fabulous, stay gorgeous, and I'll see you next time. That's it from Not Only in Pink episode. What is this? 5. Bye.